You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Alrighty, hey everyone, this is Walter. It's Tuesday night. It's actually going to be Wednesday morning in the next few minutes for me, but I am starting right now on December 8th. I won't be done until December 9th, so this would be a weird type of situation. I got started a little bit later than I wanted to. Well, since it's still Tuesday for me, Monday night I actually went around about an hour, Wednesday night I actually went to go see that movie Krampus. It is actually pronounced Krampus in the movie. People say Krampus because it's K-R-A-M-P. And, you know what, I'm going to take a pause for just one split second because there's another fictional tale and I already forgot how to mention the name. So give me a moment. All right, forgive me for that. I just gave a little pause for a second. Not that I needed a pause for a moment. Already in the beginning of my show, I'm doing that pause thing. Yeah, the other one I was thinking of, in case I forget how to pronounce it, this is my problem. It's called Grilla. That's another fictional or a story told about a Christmas demon that eats children who are bad. I never even heard of it, so I have no clue about it. Somehow it popped up, I guess, because now Krampus is out. And it is actually pronounced Krampus. It's not pronounced Krampus. Somehow that got in what people call it, because it's K-R-A-M-P-U-S, but it's actually pronounced Krampus, not Krampus. Because I was at the movie theater and the guy said, "Oh, you mean Krampus?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess that's the way you say it," because I had no clue, but then I watched the movie and they said Krampus. So I was actually pronouncing it the correct way. I personally thought the movie was really good, but my reason for that is I grew up, I wanted to do deliberately a show, Tuesday now into Wednesday, because I grew up where, around Christmas time every year, and I am saying Christmas, I'm trying to think. In middle school, we always used to learn about Christmas. That was a big thing, what the meaning of Christmas was. And that wasn't prohibited then. Now it is. But back when I was growing up, and I'm not even just saying that, I'm not sure, it sounds so cliche, but it's absolutely true. We did learn about Christmas. It wasn't, oh, you're going to offend somebody if you talk about Christmas. No, that was just a fact. Now, you're not allowed to use the word Christmas or anything. But, I should have done a little research before the show. I said I was, and I did not, so I apologize. But honestly, Christmas there's many different things about Christmas, more than just the main one that most people, if you're a Christian that you affiliate it with, it's the birth of Christ. Well, it's more than that. Also, it is the time they picked was also it's a paganistic ritual too. It's the beginning, I guess, of the winter solstice. So it also affiliates not only with Christianity when they picked the day of Christmas, or celebrating Christmas, but it also it's a paganistic holiday as well. Not anything where you burn people at the stake or anything. I'm just saying it's a paganistic holiday. It's just a thing. I probably will look it up really quick just to verify that. But also, what else was I going to say? It is also more than just that, too. It is also the meaning of there was a really, truly, in different religions of, what do you call it? Kris Kringle. So I'm going to look that up right now. But, now the only thing that is allowed to be mentioned, apparently, is the Muslim beliefs and stuff. Christmas is not as prohibited altogether. So that's why I'm looking it up right now to verify myself. The true meaning of Christmas is a phrase with a long history in American pop culture. It first appeared in the 19th century and often given fragility, religious overtones, suggesting that the true meaning of Christmas is celebrated on the nativity of Christ. See, I was, it meant different things when I was growing up, because they also taught you about the paganistic version and about the belief also in, Kris Kringle, the man who actually did live, who basically was, I believe, a saint or something, who actually did give presents to people and stuff. So I'm trying to look for that. But now it's just considered like, oh, you can't talk about Christmas whatsoever. The main thing is the birth of Christ now, but there is other meanings behind Christmas as well. Even the Christmas tree, that comes out of, also, if I remember correctly, that also came out of the paganistic part of, there was no Christmas tree when Christ was born. So, there's different, I'm looking at it now. Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas, considered by many to be the original Santa Claus. But yeah, Saint Nicholas. I was trying to find something on the meaning of the Christmas tree. But there is a reason behind that, too, and it has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. So it's a conglomeration of different things. But now, all of a sudden, it's just like you can't talk about Christmas whatsoever. It's a shame. When I went and seen Krampus, it kind of reminded me, it's like a new way of telling an old story, lose your faith in Christmas, and you will pay a price, so to speak. For being a non-believer, on any level of Christmas. So, which is a shame. It was like kind of remind me growing up, I would watch it traditionally every year, or the Charlie Brown specials. And also, in addition to that, I would also, watch, A Christmas Carol. That's like my tradition for me, is to watch that. All different versions, the older ones, the black and white. That's basically a Charles Dickens book, but, I just love... let me see if I can find Saint Nick. Yeah, I probably won't be able to find much. I should have done a little bit more... where it came from. Saint Nick is kind of a given, but we used to learn about this actually in middle school. So yeah, I'm typing right now, obviously. Well, it's saying here the history of Christmas, and it's going by Jesus Christ. But yeah, my main thing was I wanted to really mention, if you really want to see a true and and you still believe in Christmas for what it really means for growing up, besides the birth of Christ, the other reasons behind it, I would say go see Krampus, because it was really good. Yeah, it says long before the advent of Christianity, plants and trees that remained green all year had a special meaning for people in the winter. Discovering the history of the Christmas tree and earlier winter solstice celebrations to Queen Victoria and all the annual lighting in Rockefeller Center, but that really doesn't say much. But I believe, if I remember correctly, it is a paganistic thing. I should probably just put that in. It was actually funny because I remember before I knew this way beforehand, there was a supernatural. They actually talked about one of the other beliefs about Christmas with the demons in Christmas, because supernatural is all about supernatural. So it keeps on putting penguins in instead of because my spelling is so ridiculously bad. So, pig. So I am sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it. Peg. I finally got paganistic. Chris. I thought it was. I could be agnostic. Pagan roots. Surprise facts about Christmas. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of he and hawing. But yeah, the shocking pagan origins of Christmas. What is the true origins of Christmas? Where did they come from? Did you know? Where did Santa Claus come from and the Christmas tree? And how did this pagan fest become connected with Christianity? So there is a story. I will actually cut this now. I thought I was right, and I guess actually I was for a change. Although the whole world celebrates Christmas as a Christian holiday, including millions of non-Christians, is Christmas really a Christian at all? It doesn't really matter. I honestly don't care either way. But it's just a point that was the way I was brought up, believing in knowing everything. I was very lucky because we also, going to a public school, we also learned, that was actually prohibited nowadays is the belief in the Darwin theory. We actually learned that in high school. I mean, it's nice to know because I went to a Catholic school as a child, so I learned also, about Christianity and about Darwinism. So I got the best of both worlds. Most people don't nowadays. Yeah, so December 25th, 25th is referred to in the documents as Christmas Day and AD 324 for the first time. But I just posted on my Facebook page. But yeah, I really remember that. Yeah, it was actually Christmas was actually derived from derivative of a paganistic on the winter solstice is actually incorporated in there. And then the point is, Christianity is a key factor in Christmas. For years growing up, everybody, especially in the United States, celebrate Christmas for Christmas being the birth of Christ. Without realizing it, we actually do celebrate the paganistic version of Christmas, again, without realizing it, because we incorporated Saint Nick into it. And then, as well, the Christmas tree, which is part of the paganistic part. So, but again, that's all been destroyed. You're not allowed to talk about that anymore. That's prohibited. And it's very sad that people can't, celebrate something that it's been a tradition for, I would say, probably centuries. And at this point, and it's just because of this whole thing with this Muslim uprising and their hatred for anything that's different than themselves, and act like they were a peace-gathering religious group of some sort. Believe it or not, I don't believe that at all. That's just my opinion, though. That's one holiday you actually bring different people together. That's the one time of the year that there is, quote unquote, not anymore, but peace on earth. That was the belief, no matter what religion you were, which nationality you were, or whatever your personal preference was put aside for that one day out of the year, and everybody would come together. Now that's not the case. It is disgraced upon, and you can't do that. So for the first time, I actually want to see that movie again, personally. It's a little bit of a satire, comedy, horror, whatever you want to call it, of the Krampus. But it actually was really good because it kind of incorporated what I believed in Christmas growing up. They actually did one part where this woman, she's a grandmother in the movie, she mentions about how her first experience of seeing Krampus because she gave up on her belief in Christmas. And nowadays they reiterate it by people more concerned about, themselves than others. And the true meaning of Christmas when I was growing up is not receiving, but given to others and sharing that one day, violent free once a year at least. But they kind of incorporated in the movie that's no longer the case. People are more concerned about themselves than anything else. So this movie kind of, made that point apparent on the film, but then it was one boy, the little boy, who actually still believed not only in Santa Claus, but also in Christmas or St. Nicholas. I guess you can't say St. Nicholas anymore either, because that would be politically incorrect unless it was something to deal with the Muslim belief. That's how horrible it's gotten. But I remember going to school, high school, even in middle school, and there was a guy that I was friends with. I remember his name. His name was Keith Goldberg. He was Jewish. But him and some other people I know that were friends that were Jewish, I am not, I'm Christian, they would celebrate both Christmas and Hanukkah because, Christmas was a holiday that was for everyone. It wasn't just for your belief just in God. It was everybody's belief in whatever they wanted to, but it was a day of peace as well. But now that's disgraced upon. Again, this movie, though, just brings the memories of the way I grew up remembering Christmas. And I wish other people would kind of notice that, too, and actually go see that film, to say the least, because it's a really good film. But they do this one part where, as a grandmother, I went off on a sidetrack thing, whatever, again. The grandmother actually, she reminisces about the past, and she experiences firsthand seeing the Krampus, where he takes everyone to hell except one person to remind him what Christmas is really about. Because the Krampus is basically the anti Santa Claus or the anti Saint Nick. So that's the whole thing about that. So he's just there for those who don't believe in Christmas anymore. He is there to remind people what Christmas is about. And for some, probably for an eternity and in some type of hell. But she got, the main character, again, this grandmother, got left behind, and to remind herself and others that the true meaning of what Christmas is about. Nowadays, you can't do that. So that's what I liked about it. We do forget about what Christmas is all about. It's more of just a way of making money and stuff, and I don't know. I mean, it's been totally lost. So I saw this movie, and what I wanted to say, though, that was really interesting, they actually, when she's reminiscent about her childhood, the grandmother in this film, you see her in the previews. One thing, she speaks German the whole entire film. I think she says a couple things in English. Obviously, on the commercial, you see her, this grandmother, speaking in English. Well, why is that? Because the belief in I would believe Saint Nicholas and the belief of Christmas would be, from like at least Saint Nick would be more of a German, probably background, origin, whatever. I could be wrong about that. It wouldn't be the first time. But they remind you of that too. That's the part that kind of just got me going. It was like, yeah, reminds me when I was a kid. And I remember growing up, and we would learn about the history of where Christmas came from, more than just the belief in, which is important, the belief that it's a Christian holiday. We also learned more. We learned every aspect, not just the one, and it did not get shot down at the same time. Which now you're not allowed to believe anything except that it's Christmas is an insult to Muslims. That's all you need to know anymore, which is horrible. It is extremely horrible. That's why, again, I liked the Krampus. Anyway, I still haven't answered what I wanted to say or get to the point, obviously. But Krampus, when the grandmother's telling the story, though, they do it with puppets, like the ones you would see when you watch those Christmas specials growing up about Saint Nicholas and about Frosty the Snowman. Well, that's basically what they did, is they incorporated that too, and that brought back memories too. The woman who spoke in German reminded me learning about the history of Christmas from the paganistic aspect in middle school. Obviously, I learned the Christian belief in Catholic in Sunday school, and then I also learned. I'm trying to think. I learned about. I was reminiscing watching this movie with the puppet part. It kind of reminded me of The Nightmare Before Christmas when she's telling the story and they show these little puppets kind of demonstrating her as a child, or showing it, presenting her as a child. But, not your traditional puppets. It's like the puppets, again, you see in Frosty the Snowman, and the one about Santa Claus when he's young, Kris Kringle, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It reminded me of those type of puppets, and it was really, really, really good. And the whole film it just made me feel like I was, you got to grow up at some point. Well, you know what? This one time out of the year, I just enjoyed being reminiscent about being a child again. And I really, really... I can't say enough. The movie was just excellent. It just brought me down memory lane. And I think some people need to remember what Christmas was about growing up. You're never too old to celebrate Christmas. But now it seems like, that is an issue. So, so I just had to go down that avenue really quick. I'm trying to think. I got some other stories too, but I just can't say enough. I would recommend, if you have, I might even try to see it around Christmas time. I actually wanted to see, they're doing Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol in a play at that place I had went and seen Dracula, and I'm trying to find it again. I'm going to do a quick look on that. I'm going to open a new tab. The Christmas Carol. I'm sorry, I'm I think it was called Hemgrove or Hargrove or... I think it was Hedgegrove, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look because I actually looked it up. Yeah, I think it's Hedgegrove. I can't find it right now. Christmas Carol, Walnut Street. I actually looked it up earlier, but the tickets were only like $30. That's one thing I would say, yeah, you have to see. But I'm trying to look that up now, too. Yeah, actually it is Hedgegrow. Because I just found it. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, Christmas Carol. And again, the tickets are only like $30. I'm actually considering going back. I was even thinking of not doing anything this week. I might actually go see it this week. But yeah, it's playing. Let's see. At least it's playing all the way through Christmas. It's playing through Christmas on the 27th. It actually, the first show is this Thursday on December 10th, and it's at the Hedgerow Theater. That's actually almost sold out, the first show. A little crowded for my liking, but I was thinking, hey, I can even go Friday. Actually, that's selling out now, too. I was actually going to go Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's strange. I was actually going to consider going Thursday, but yeah, the seats are almost completely filled. It's amazing. So people seem to have time, and that's another thing. When I've seen Krampus, it made me think about Christmas in a good way. And I'm seeing what the afternoon on Saturday looks. Oh, afternoon Saturday show is actually only got like a handful of seats open, literally, for the Christmas Carol at the Hedgerow Theater, what they're showing the Christmas Carol. They said that does rather well every year, but it's going to be very crowded. Unfortunately, see what their 7:30 show. Not as crowded, but it is definitely for say it's sold out almost, which is really good, I guess, for them. Again, I was thinking of getting a ticket, but it's about $30, which isn't bad for a live performance. Not too hard to get to. I'm actually again considering doing that this week, just to get more in the Christmas spirit, more than I already probably would have been. That movie definitely helped again. I would recommend that. And I mean, look in the history of Christmas a little bit. I mean, people truly do seem to forget what Christmas was about. Everything's is more about being politically correct. I just get so tired of it. I do got some darker stories. Let me just shut that out now. I don't know if I want to go into my really dark stories yet. That was my main thing why I wanted to do a show tonight, actually, more than any other reason. It was just nice. Oh, by the way, I watched I want to say Smallville because it reminds me so much like it, was Supergirl. And actually, my one friend said he actually finally watched it because he watches, I think, Green Arrow as well. I think that was on a break or something like that. So he didn't need to watch it He actually watched Supergirl. I don't know if he was impressed or not. I asked him for his opinion. He didn't say. I think it was good. I think it gets better by every episode. It just gets that much better. And it sticks truly with, not that I've ever read him, but all these comic book villains. And, I mean, even though the rest was a little off-key, probably on how they developed the character and her interests and stuff, it is truly a comic book TV show, and it's fun to watch. I mean, as a kid and even now, I just grew up watching, Superman, and I loved those superhero shows growing up as a kid. Now, there was no harm in that, and people still watch those, but it's just fun, Is there harm in having fun? Apparently, there is. And speaking about Supergirl, it was funny. I got this on a whim. I just like collecting stuff. If I ever get literally a place of my own to live in, I'm going to definitely get more shelving. I know a guy who does this. He has his own house. He actually gets those glass cases, and he collects action figures and stuff, and he just keeps them in a glass case. I need to do that myself. One, when I can afford to also, because I do want to do that eventually someday, a display case. So to add to my collection, I actually did buy, because I'm a big Superman, Supergirl fan. All the rest of other superheroes, I could probably, minus the Flash, I actually did like that on the TV show. The old one and the new one. I haven't watched the new one lately. But I was always a big Superman fan. I loved those. I really got into those when I was a little kid. And there was this magazine for kids, because I was a kid back then. I forget the name of it. There was one I actually used to collect called Dynamite, I think. It was a kids magazine. I think you would order it through middle school or something. And I had a subscription, but there was one cover page that actually had, I'm trying to make sure I get it right, Christopher Reeve as Superman. It was right before the movie actually came out. It was like Superman's coming back to the big screen. I was so psyched. I never got to see the first one in the movie theaters. I don't know why my parents didn't take me to go see it. I did get to see the second one. They were actually shot at the same time. They were shot back to back, those films. I had a blast seeing that, and that's what really. And I grew up watching George Reeves. I used to love watching that when I was really small. So I always liked anything with Superman. So here I'd taken a picture before I unveiled it, but it was too good to be true. But I ordered it on eBay because it was like, there's no way it could be this cheap. But I was at the comic conventions. This stuff went a lot more expensive. It was a 13-inch action figure of Supergirl. They were selling them brand new in the box, still sealed, still wrapped up, from this company called Toner. Toner is a place that makes special collector edition. They're not dolls you play with. These are ones you put on display. Let me put in Toner doll. But Toner dolls start at no cheaper than $200. This headquarters is in Hurley, New York, founded in 1991 by Robert Toner. These are our collector dolls. These are ones you put on display. You do not touch them. You basically set them up and you put them in a case, but you don't go any further with those. So I had one of Supergirl for $45, and it's like, you got to be kidding. Toner dolls go for anywhere from $200 and up. You will not get them any cheaper than that. I'm trying to look for the official Toner doll website right now, but you will not get them any cheaper than about $200. So somebody had a whole display on eBay. I'm just kind of curious about how they can sell them so cheap. Of these Toner dolls, I think I got one, maybe three at this point, collector edition dolls. But I take them out of the boxes and stuff, so that means the cost actually comes down a tad bit. Yeah, you can get some. Yeah, I'm looking at some now. The basic ones are no thrills dolls. There's one that actually I was surprised for $99, but then there's another one that's $209, which is no shock. $214, $179. Yeah, Toner dolls are not dolls that you play with. You actually are for collector reasons only. So I'm trying to see what they would have if they have Supergirl on there. Events, blogs, archives. But yeah, Toner dolls are very expensive. You will not get those cheap. Okay, they even had one for Spider-Man. And actually Jonah Hex. But they don't have the prices. $175 was for $149. They actually had Mary Jane, that was $100. Peter Parker was $130. Gwen Stacy was $130. These are for these toner dolls. These are collector dolls. They make them for. That's another thing. They're made for a limited edition. Once the run is done, you won't be able to collect them anymore. They had one for Get Smart. Toner dolls they are collector dolls. They are not designed, again, for kids. They're basically, I know it sounds ridiculous, they are actually they actually made them for Tron. I didn't know that. They're designed that you collect them, but you don't play with them. You basically are, it's a showpiece. I had a neighbor years ago. She actually collected the bigger dolls, porcelain ones, and she actually did put them in a glass case. So, but yeah, they're basically for collectors. They actually had one. It looks like I didn't know that for Doctor Who. Let's see how much that was of David Tennant. May have had it. Well, $200. There was one actually. It sold out for $50. I didn't know that. I would have probably gotten it. Unfortunately I like to display my the ones I get. They made one from Torchwood. Gwen Cooper was a character, $170, and Jack Harkness for $200. So, these I actually did not know about. The Supergirl one, I think, is going to, honestly, even out of the box, it's going to go up in value. Comic-inspired ones, let's see. Yeah, you won't even find Supergirl anymore. This actually officially came in the toner box. It's labeled up and everything. But yeah, those are expensive. Actually, I think Toner just didn't put this under theirs. I think the Supergirl was made separately with Wonder Woman and everything. So I'm looking at and there was two ones. There was a 15-inch doll and a 13. I got the 15-inch one, or 13-inch one. I didn't need the 15-inch one. Yeah, right now I got mine for like $45. Other ones are going for $242. For that same one I got, the Supergirl, $116, $119, and $180. So yeah, now you can get one that doesn't even come with the clothes. The one I got, Supergirl, for $112. I got mine. It was like brand new in the box. Action figure. Amazon, actually, currently, they don't sell them anymore because they are out of print. Yeah, there was another one that was made. It was $180 of Supergirl. I got the basic one. Again, these things, the one I got, actually, this is another different one for $200. I don't like it as much as the one I got. Again, I get this stuff because I collect this stuff. Now, that's to each his own. Then I got three for $150. I could have got three for the price of one. I'm not going to do that. Of the same exact one I got. Even Barbie, people who collect Barbie, they're actually worth money too. I know it's a little ridiculous talking about that. 2008 Barbie collector's doll labeled Supergirl doll. Probably when you first bought it was probably only worth $10 or $20. It's now worth $180. So yeah, you can make money off this stuff. You just got to know when to buy, and I guess if you're interested, hold on to it, and when to sell, and you can actually make some good money off this stuff. I'm sure eventually they're going to put one out with the girl who's playing on the series now. Yeah, they even have one. It says DC Comic one from DC Comics. That's going for $140 on Supergirl. So this stuff actually goes up in value. It's hard to believe. A doll goes up in value. Yeah, people actually do that stuff. They actually got one of from the classic series. I can't remember that actress's name of Barbie Collector's classic doll of Catwoman. And so it's the actress I actually liked. And that's going for only $50. I've seen it actually go for a lot more money than that. I can't remember that actress. She's like actually pushing 80 or something now. Yeah, but she was really good. But yeah, I mean, some of that stuff you can buy cheap and sell high. Again, I was just questioning how I got that one I got. The toners are actually, again, they're worth the most money. Actually, the other one wasn't 15 inches. It's actually 16 inches high. They actually had it at comic convention, but again, those dolls go for about $200. Yeah, because there's Toner DC comic bombshell of Wonder Woman that actually is on Amazon for $200. Yeah, when they get that high, it's just like it's out of reach. But people, again, they collect them, they hold on to them, and most people actually keep them in the boxes. I actually like to display the stuff I buy. So, there was a set the guy was selling at the comic convention with 3 of the action figures, and I think he was giving the whole lot for, I think it was $600 or $700. So, yeah, should have probably bought 2 and sold the one off. Would have made my money back and pocketed some money too. I should have done that. I did not. So, yeah, I just had to throw that in the niche. It's just fun to collect them. It's just you run out of room after a while, obviously, too, unfortunately. Yeah, because you know what? It was funny. Somebody actually, that's why I like Superman and Supergirl. Somebody's actually selling the toner costume for the Wonder Woman one, just the costume for the action figure, for $50. It's not even the whole thing. It's just, I mean, so these things, obviously, they get money for these things. But again, the average toner doll generally goes for about $200. You're lucky if you get it any cheaper. And if you get one, you find one for $50, you do what I did and buy it for like $40, and then if you're smart or whatever, you hold on to it and then eventually sell it for probably 9 times what you paid for it. Yeah, there's somebody actually selling a toner Wonder Woman doll with the head not attached. And that's going for $170. So that just says a lot, doesn't it? So it's just amazing. Anyway, I probably beat that horse to death. I'm kind of good at doing that. But I just try to lighten up the mood before getting to the too dark. Hey, there was something on comicbook.com for people who are interested. I didn't know about this. That girl who's going to be the Joker's girlfriend in the new Suicide Squad, she's actually, what do you call it, Harley Quinn. She's actually going to be, she's already working on another movie. I think it's Margot Robbie. I'm not sure how you say her name. First official look of her in Alexander in the Legends of Tarzan. I'm not even try to pronounce his last name. I don't know. I mean, they've done. I mean, I guess every once in a while they reinvent Tarzan, the movie of Tarzan. I'm not a big fan of that, but yeah, I guess since Tarzan might have been a comic book, I guess at some point, I don't know. I just remember it was an old in the old movies, the black and whites, but they're reinventing that again. And she's actually going to play his love interest, so to speak, as the girl who's playing in the Suicide Squad as Harley Quinn. She looks really hot as Harley Quinn, though. She looks completely different, obviously, in her new. She's doing the Tarzan movie, The Legends of Tarzan. But that was actually on comicbookmovie.com, just to let you know. Yeah. Okay, now I'm getting into my darker stories. It just hits pretty hard, I guess, when I'm going to start those. Actually, this one's pretty sad first. Mason Cox, 19, pulled into wood chipper on his first day of the job. It's not even funny. It was in North Carolina. I think it's Gaston or whatever. I think it's not too far from my brother lives. I have a brother who lives in North Carolina. It said it was like literally his first day of the job. It was a horrible incident. He was only 19 years old, but he got pulled somehow in. They don't know how. I mean, you got to be careful of that stuff too, but he was obviously trying to put some wood in, logs, whatever, into a wood chipper, and he got pulled in the machine himself. It says the limb must have grabbed a piece of his clothing and took him into the chipper, said business owner John Crawford. So that's a shame. That's a real shame. I mean, things happen like that. I mean, it's not a job. That was actually dated yesterday now, because it's Wednesday morning, but it would have been the proper day for me to read. This has actually happened just on Tuesday. So I feel bad. I'm sorry for this poor guy's loss. Yeah, I have a story. This is like, I guess, a recurrent story, and this was actually posted. These are all in the Dream and Demon, by the way. This guy named Michael Lutz, sentenced to 80 years in prison for molesting babies in San Diego, California. Last year, he was reported on 52-year-old Michael Lutz, a pediatric nurse who sexually abused a 6-week-old boy who was born prematurely, as well as a 11-month-year-old girl. On Monday, he was sentenced to 80 years in prison. Lutz was arrested last year after investigators discovered that an email address registered to his home was sending child pornography to a 34-year-old Stephen Schaffner of Greensboro, Maryland. It says the child pornography involved Lutz and his 2-month-old foster child, who he had started to abuse sexually almost immediately after bringing him to his home. That's pretty bad, though. So, yeah, this guy's going to see 80 years behind prison, and he's not very young. He's 52 years old. He looks a lot older than that, too, in my opinion. So, you know what? This was interesting. I'm going to sidetrack for a minute. A friend actually found this, and it was on the Norristown Patch. And it's this website. You can find them. They're called thepatch.com. Within your area, you can put your local area. You can find local news by just putting your area in wherever you live and put patch.com. Anyway, it says, how safe are you? Data from the new study analysis, Norristown crime rates by neighborhood. And it says Norristown named one of the 100 most dangerous cities in America right now. So we are actually, Norristown, where I live, is actually number 13 on the most dangerous places to live. Now, years ago, when I was growing up, my mother would always say, oh, we lived on a place called Cone Street. You could leave your door open. My parents said my mom would walk me in a baby stroller because I was just born back then. And it was safe. You can't do that anymore. And actually, it's kind of spread out because last night after I went and seen this movie, actually at the movie tavern past Oaks, it was up near Collegeville. Coming home, I went to Oaks Wawa, and I never felt so scared in my life. I went into this Wawa in Oaks, and they literally looked like thugs that were in there, both African-American and Spanish, and not your normal run-of-the-mill crowd of people. These people had tattoos all over their bodies. They had the ghettoed-out cars, and they just plain looked dangerous. These are the people you see when you see these shootings and robberies, and they did not look very friendly at all. So, they say you shouldn't stereotype or judge people by what they look like, but I tell you, this was one time my spidey senses were telling me, get out of there as quickly as possible. This is not a pretty sight for me to stay in. And trust me, I was shaken. I was really scared, and I don't get that way in front of people just because I'm, shy around people because I spend most of my time by myself. No, this was completely different. Anyway, I'm going to read this the best I can. It says, how safe are you? Norristown has its fair share of crime, and it remains one of the nation's 100 most dangerous cities. But there is nothing less signs of significant improvement in boroughs, according to the data from a recent study. Using the data comprised in the crime data and statistics for the FBI, U.S. Justice Department, and more than 1,700 local law enforcement agencies. An online research called Neighborhood Scout now allows local residents to see the statistical breakdown of crimes by neighborhood. Norristown ranked the nation's 96th most dangerous city from 2015. Or somewhere it said it's number 13. Taking all available data, Neighborhood Scout applies a mathematical algorithm that estimates the total number of crimes and crime rates for each neighborhood with nearly 90% accuracy. Then it produces colored maps which shows the safest and two the most dangerous places to live. I'm trying to think where I would show up. Anyway, overall, the Norristown area scores a 13 out of 100 on the crime index. So there's where your 13 is, with 100% being, or 100 being the safest. The 13 sign fees that Norristown is safer than 13 of cities in the United is wait, let me reread that. I apologize. The 13 sign fees that Norristown is safer than 13 of other cities, I guess, in the United States is what it's trying to state. The data states that there are 324 violent crimes and 1,068 property crimes committed annually, and the violent crime rate of 9.41% per 1,000 residents is almost triple the statewide average of 3.35. So, yeah, I guess the crime rate is what I'm gathering is almost triple statewide average of a 3.35. The likelihood of finding yourself in a victim of a violent crime in Norristown is 1 in 106, and the average of an annual crime per square mile is in the area of 386 compared to a state of 58 crimes per mile. And the national average is 37.9 crimes per square mile. But it is really bad. They're going back and forth. Okay, it says here, I'm just going to kind of skip around. It says drilling down to the neighborhood level provides a glimpse at the neighborhoods where with crime rates well above average. Now, here's places I've actually, they were safe years ago, not any longer. The ones they put on the scale of being the most dangerous places, which weren't when I first was born, DeKalb Street, East Marshall Street, Ridge Pike, Hamilton Street, Ridge Pike, DeKalb Street, West Marshall Street, Markley Street. Moving away from the center of the borough, the crime rates drop a bit as they begin to approach the statewide average. Those neighborhoods include Markley Street, West Freedley Street, Penn Square, Grandview Heights, DeKalb Pike, Germantown Pike, West Marshall Street, Middleton Place. Now, Germantown Pike, I'm always on that all the time, going down to the Plymouth Meeting Mall. So the crime kind of cuts back, but it's kind of that ripple effect. It's not as prevalent, but it is there. As for the safest places to live in Norristown area, the neighborhoods with the lower crime rate and the crime density included is East Norton, which technically I'm in, Bettswood, West Norton, and Fairview Village, which is right up the street from where I live. So they're the places considered the most, but we're like right out of the crime zone, literally on the cusp. There's no other way to put it. So anywhere else, the crime gets much worse, and that's like less than a mile from where I live. So, Norristown's fairly big, but that's really sad too. Speaking about sad, I got two more stories to make people suffer with. Dreamin' Demon again. Ronald Exness broke into a random home, stabbed a 6-year-old boy to death. That was actually on yesterday's date of the 8th. Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, I'm sorry about his last name. I'll just say, actually, did I say Ronald? Yeah, it is Ronald. Has been accused of breaking into a family home and then for reasons currently unknown, stabbed a 6-year-old boy to death in his bedroom. So, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I just don't know what made this occur. But if you want to read more, yeah, he literally stabbed to death an innocent boy for no reason at all. So if you want to read that, that's on the Dreamin' Demon. You can fill in the blanks yourself because I don't want to say too much and then people saying that I'm being biased or whatever on whom or who had committed the crime. So I would best leave that out of things. If you want to look at it and read it, you can do that on your own because they're on my Facebook page. There was another Norristown patch story I didn't even know I put up. A friend sent it to me, my friend Todd. Man nearly ran over a child, made threats against Jews, is what it's titled. December 7th, so it was like 2 days ago. A man allegedly nearly ran over his child while carelessly driving and then made threats against Jewish people during an ensuing confrontation, according to a Lower Merion Township press release. Police responded to the incident at 9 p.m. Saturday evening, December 5th, at the Dairy Cafe in Marin. Is that Upper Maryland? Whatever, Marin. Anyway, witnesses reported that the man had carelessly entered the parking lot, nearly running over his own child. At least one witness got into a verbal altercation with the driver, during which he allegedly made threats and said hateful things about Jewish people, police said. The driver, when questioned, said he had gotten into an argument, but he basically denied that he had made any threats or said anything about Jewish people, according to police. No video footage has been yet been recovered. The Lower Merion police said that we are taking the threats seriously, and then that the investigation was ongoing. I haven't heard anything else about it. Anyone who knows anything about this incident or investigation is asked to please contact Detective John Mick at 610-645-6229. So that's pretty scary, though. I mean, yeah, the way I started out the show, I said, especially around this time of year, Christmas, it didn't matter. And when I grew up, actually, I hate to say this, but we didn't look at people for their background, their ethnicity, or anything else. We didn't care what their religious beliefs were, if they were Jewish or any other kind of, religious background or belief. We just thought of people as being people. But that's no longer the case. Now it's all about, what do you call it? Everything's about the Muslims and how they're being mistreated. And it gets so old, though. I mean, it's all you ever hear about anymore. You don't hear about anything else. And everything just seems to be like center focused on that one issue. And again, it's just gotten, to me, it's just gotten so old. I'm just so sick of hearing about it. What happened to the days you didn't make, this is more important. You need to focus on this. This is the most important thing in the world is we gotta, Muslims are everything. It's like, they're monopolizing the whole globe now. You don't hear about anybody else's beliefs, just theirs. Huh. I seen a story that just came up, and I'm not sure I'm going to read it because it's Norristown Times Herald. Well, I'll open it up because it's got a picture too. Times Herald reader Frank Pfeiffer is just sent us a photo of 2 Whippane Township police officers changing the tire of some little old lady. Very nice. She's actually got a classic Ford, what is it? The one I used to like, the Escort. SUV along Cathcart Road this afternoon, which was yesterday probably at this point. Pfeiffer said he just had to take the picture to show little of the good that they do and that no one would ever want to talk about. So that was really nice. Yeah, it's around the house. These 2 police officers actually helped this old lady, elderly woman change her tire. That was very nice. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a picture. I know where this is from. I was a picture. David Tennant puts a lot of stuff up on his Facebook page, and yeah, it's from him. But he just put up a picture. He's wearing a Superman T-shirt, and it was funny because what it was from is he and God, I can't remember her name, Catherine Tate. They did a modern version of Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing, and I actually tried to start watching. I got it a while back. This was like a year ago, I think. It was like you could only like purchase it online, copy of it. And actually tonight it was funny because I was missing David Tennant as a Doctor. I actually pulled up the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who because I wanted to watch Tennant once again in the role of Doctor Who. I'd really like to see that, man. Him and the actress. I pulled her name up. I got to look for it again. Playing in his new show of Jessica Jones. I got to find out who plays that part. She's actually, I thought she's from around, she is from Pennsylvania. Let me see. She's a cute girl, too. Kristen Ritter. Yeah, I think Kristen Ritter, again, let me see where she's 33 years old. Yeah, she's from Chic, Shiny, PA. Never heard of it, but I heard it's not too far from my one friend's parents live right now. Yeah, I don't even know how far that is from where I'm at. You know what? I'm going to do a Google search from where I live. Give me a moment because I'm kind of curious. Not that I want to. I'm looking up on Google Maps to see how far I am from where she was born. I heard it's like basically, let's see, directions. And I'll put my address in. And PA. She's about where she was first founded or born. She's like 2 hours away from where I live now. Never heard of it either. Looks like a nice town, though. It almost reminds me when I was where they shot Friday the 13th. It's that kind of town. It's like a very, very quaint-looking little town. Yeah, wow. Got to be a big change for her, though. From chic, shiny borough to where she, is like really popular. But it does, I forget where that was. Let's see, Friday the 13th filmed. Gotta look that up now, too. Blairstown. Yeah, it reminds me a lot like Blairstown. It's kind of funny. The same, I guess all these little towns that... It's amazing when you can find, like, these small little quaint towns. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of cool, though, to see that with... what I say, Kristen Ritter. It's actually spelled Krysten. She's actually, I'm gonna have to watch that. She's on a couple different shows. She was on some comedy. It might have been one season because now she's doing Jessica Jones. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Swear to God, this girl I saw, I don't think it was her. I got to figure out her height. No, it's definitely not her. But this girl could have passed for her body double. But there was this girl at this Miley Cyrus concert, and she looks just like Kristen, like her twin, Christine Ritter. But the thing is, Christine Ritter is 5'9". This girl was only 5'1". But it's kind of scary. She looks exactly like her in the face. I mean, she could literally pass for her body double. Which is, again, it's kind of frightful. Like, wow, this girl was being nice to me, too. I don't know why. I wish it was Kristen Ritter. But, yeah, because I'm not used to people being nice to me. So, yeah, that's a different story, though. Story for another time. Anyway, folks, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm doing that again like I did, and I made a 2-hour show of me just babbling on, so I'm going to try not to do that tonight. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed whatever I did tonight. My main thing was go see Krampus. I would definitely recommend it. I really enjoyed it. I want to go see it again. I definitely want to see A Christmas Carol for Christmas, too. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening to me. I'm signing off on now this Wednesday morning, so thanks again if you listen to me on, whatever. So, and I will try to continue to find things to talk about. Thanks again. This is iWalter.